Hello everyone, Strawberry Gaming here, back with some more Starcraft after a bit of a hiatus. I've been recording some other content, but I'm back now for another Starcraft replay. And I have down here in the bottom right on Death Aura the Korean Protoss player Zest, and in the top left we have the Great Foreign Hope, the best foreign player of all time, possibly the best player of all nations of all time. Let me know in the comments what your thoughts are. Serral. I didn't play Starcraft for a little bit. I recently came back, started playing it again, and there's definitely been some interesting changes. There's not been a balance patch in a while, and Blizzard have said they're not going to do any balance changes. But I think the meta has still evolved, and certainly with the change to Void Rays, PvZ as a matchup has changed a lot. So I'm coming back to Starcraft and I'm struggling a lot with PvZ, so this is an educational experience for me as a Zerg player, and hopefully an entertaining experience for you as a viewer and lover of Starcraft. So if you enjoy this, please give me a like and it will make me smile. So we saw at the beginning Zest blocked the hatchery there. He didn't even actually block it. Serral just immediately went for the third anyway. And this is something we've seen people doing recently. Dark has been pulling this off. Just Protoss players, doing so many, actually doing so many cannon rushes right now. We're not seeing a cannon rush, but because a lot of people are opening like Forge Cannon Expand, like Wings of Liberty, into Void Rays, which we'll probably see Stargate. People are just like, okay, well, I've got a Forge, I'm going to try and cannon rush here and whatever. Or block, or at the very least block it. So they just go, so Zerg players now, including Serral, just go straight to the third base. And just plant it down there and just say, cool, you're going to harass my second, you can have it. I'm going to just go straight to the third. So, all very standard, gets 100 gas, pulls it all off, gets a speed upgrade, gets 2 queens, going to get a third base out pretty soon, I'd imagine. And on the other side we had I think a gateway expand into Stargate, and the first thing out is going to be what? A lot of people putting Void Rays out these days, but also seeing Oracles or Void Ray Oracle or just a Void Ray. There's quite a few different directions you can go as Protoss. You can do an Adept Rush, you can do a Colossus push, you can do an Immortal push, you can go Mass Air, you can do Archon Zealot Rush. The buff to the Void Ray really stabilized this matchup for Protoss and made it kind of playable. So I really frustrated against the power of Protoss Air, but this matchup was kind of really Zerg favoured for a long time there. So my view on the balance change is good that Protoss have their chance to have a chance in this matchup. Let's be honest. And let's see what's going to happen in this game. Are Overlords armoured? I presume they are, because he just used the thingy. Okay, interesting. Oracle coming out next, and a second gateway, and into a third base. Yeah. So we're going to see a protracted game, which is what we tend to see quite often in this matchup now. As I say, with the buff to the Void Rays, it's really just allowed Protoss to expand like we've not seen before. And there's a lot of different responses that Zerg can come up with, and there's certainly a lot of different things being flown around. I'm not sure if the correct, obvious answer has been found just yet. But, ooh, coming in here, getting some the Void damage in with the Oracles, getting 3. It was quite cheeky, just threw the Void Ray in and just damaged the drone so that the Oracle could come in and one-shot them. And that was really stereotypical, aggressive, micro-based play that Zest is pretty famous for. So yeah, we've seen Dark respond to this with like a Ling-based Baneling Ling approach. and just kind of getting loads of Zerglings that, you know, Void Rays aren't very good at dealing with, and even roaches into infestors. And you know, the problem is you can't go Corruptors. Corruptors kind of destroyed Protoss Air beforehand, but now Corruptors are just really weak source, especially when there's 2 Stargates, there's 2 Void Rays being produced at a time. So you kind of Queens and Spores to defend, Lings and Banelings to counterattack, into Hive Tech. Seems to be the kind of the dominant strategy for Zerg right now, but there's definitely quite a few variations on it. Just scaring these Lings away. It seemed that kind of the original plan for the Void Ray build was to force Hydras, and then when Hydras are out, you go Storm. But I think Zergs have clocked onto that, and they're just skipping the Hydras now. As we see the Templar Archives come down from Zest, as well as a couple more gateways, making a full seal here. Serral sees everything. How much does Zest see? Oh, sorry, wrong button. Zest has got, okay, so he's got a Revelate here, so he's seeing the lair, but he doesn't really see any tech. But he doesn't really see anything other than Zerglings, so. He'd be, okay, Hydrogen. Hydrogen comes down, so that is the response. So Storm's going to line up really well against, I mean, look at the timing of the Hydrogen and the Templar Archives. It's really coming down at the exact same time, which is going to favour the Protoss with the with obviously the counter unit there, and he's getting charge as well. Also really good. Zealots are great against Hydras. 4 gateways going down on top of it. So Protoss is really going to look to defend this 4th base now, I think, through a period of Zerg aggression. No, I don't think that's right. Actually, he's building a million gateways. He's going to go with charge +1 Archons potentially. Yeah, no Storm, just Archons and Void Rays. Yeah, and it's going to be really strong. And what Serral got, he's got some Queens. How many Queens does he have? The Queens are really crucial. 9 Queens. Okay, that's a good number. And 10 Hydras on the way as this push starts to move out across the map. Serral's Baneling speed not done, Hydra speed not done, +1 range not done. Yeah, the Queens really, they do really well against everything in Zest's army. Interesting. I mean, is Zest even going to attack? He's just keeping the creep down. This is really cool. This is something we recently GSL game with Dark against Rogue, I think, and he went the Void Ray build, but because of the Queens, he couldn't get any kind of creep pressure and actually keep the creep away. So eventually, Rogue just took over the map. But here, Zest putting in some Archons, some Zealots to add a bit of bulk against those Queens, and then scooping around and getting some creep. Quite interesting. And he's delaying his attack just a little bit. He started Storm, probably because he saw the Hydras. And yeah, just he's forced a few extra units from Serral, and smart reactive play there from Zest. I think he gave up on his push timing because he saw that he just wasn't on. And so instead he's going to saturate his bases, he's going to get his gases, he's going to get Fleet Beacon and another Stargate. And he's going to head into heavy Sky Toss, which is a really powerful comp and very difficult to deal with if you're a bit of a noob like me. So +1 air weapon starts as well. Oh, there's a big backup here. This is one of the banes of Protoss' life as well, having to put guys in walls to make walls work. This Zealot is losing his mind. What is he? Is that 2 Zealots there? There's 2 Zealots there and an Adept? Like, this does not look right. Oh! 2 Stormers, a couple of cannons. That's a nice wall. That is a nice wall. Very good defense. Oh. If only he knew, he could have got that. Zest's army looks really small right now, actually. Really small. I don't think he can hold this base. Will Serral realise? Will Serral know? Yeah. Big storms. The storms are really important to this. Ooh, but Zest's getting surrounded a bit. The storms are okay, but they're not fantastic. He's going to be able to reset the void ray count here. Yeah, so he cancelled the bait. Oh, I didn't cancel the base. Okay. Yeah, this is a good hold. Good hold by Zest. Serral was able to take out a couple of void rays, and he has just made corruptors, so that's good. How many corruptors? Just 2. But he's got 3 vipers, which are very good against the Protoss air units, as 3 carriers are being made. So, oh, where's this guy been? Just teleporting in. Yeah, so now it's going to be relentless pressure. Hydralisk Bane. Oof. But no. Hydralisks just do really badly against carriers. I don't think, I wouldn't be surprised if Serral really cut down on his Hydra production. As we see 2 Ultras being made and Ultra Speed on the way. A lot of Zealots going to get munched up by the Ultras there. As more and more carriers are made. I mean, this is a slightly sort of backward thing. You see, we see Dark doing this as well, going Ultras against carriers. It doesn't really compute in your brain, since Ultras can't shoot carriers. But the idea is that you just destroy everything on the ground. You kill the Stormers, you kill the Archons, you kill the Immortals even, if you get enough. And then you just run and kill bases. And that keeps the air army, which is really slow, just behind the beat slightly. He's killing off his Zealots. Oh, it's okay. Serral will use gas to do that for you, bro. Do not worry. Serral's come straight in to help you. He's like, I see you trying to kill your Zealots, bro. Let me help you. That's what bros do, man. Oh, the Zealots got out. I wonder when. I don't know when they broke free, but God bless them. They probably just gave their life right there to free up supply, actually, for Aya. Okay, Zest is moving in. He's got quite a few Archons. He's got 3 Stormers. He's got 6 Carriers. He's got some random amount of Zealots stacking over here, which is going to distract some amount of units. But here we go. This is going to be a really important point for Serral, if he can hold on here. You see. So I'm learning. So the Squadron of Queens, yeah, I'm doing that. Getting the Ultras and Lings, I'm doing that. This little Viper Corruptor hench force is really the key piece of learning here for me. I killed a fair few workers. 7 workers on just the Zealot run by. Took like many Lings as well. They were very hard working Zealots. So yeah, what was I saying? Corruptors, Vipers, just sort of backing things up, but not actually going in, just staying in the back area, just looking to abduct and right click things. Meanwhile, 4 Ultras basically protecting this little guerrilla anti-air force that just gonna yoink carriers in and kill them slowly underneath a Queen Spore protection base. I think he's looking to trade these Hydras off now. Gets an Observer, really useful. And what have we got from he's making more Immortals now to deal with the Ultras, which is going to work, but really I think this game is going to be decided in the air. And I just hope Zest doesn't end up with 10 Immortals against 25 Corruptors and Broodlords. Yeah, look at this little assassination squad. Cool. Okay, I'm learning. I guess it's kind of hard to feedback them as well when you've got like Overseers in the way to just block. And they're just forming a big ball. And more Infestors on the way with Neuroparasite. I mean, this is what I find really hard as, you know, a Masters 3 player is just controlling all the units. You've got Vipers, you've got Infestors, you got your ultras and lings, and then you got your corruptors, and these all need to do, and your queens. These all need to do independent things, and 3 of them are spellcasters. You know, Protoss has got Templars. You know, that's it. High Templars, A move and High Templar. You know, and it's. I'm not saying, but I'm not crying about balance here. I'm just saying it's really hard for the Zerg who's got Queen transfusions, Fungals and Neurals, Ducks and Sky Bombs. Plus they've got to target fire the Corruptors. Plus you've got to make sure your Ultras are attacking. It's just really hard. I find it very difficult. It's really taxing. So yeah, I really struggle in this situation. So I'm interested to see what Serral's going to do. I think one of the key things is these huge spore barriers. And this Ultras on defense. How often do you see Ultras just sitting at home, just chilling, and not just like running across the map to eat something immediately? So unusual. Okay, here we go. This is more what we're used to seeing. 4 Ultras slip on by and actually just murder 2 Immortals. And said, you're not going to counter me, Immortals. Big Zealot warp in, but and the battery overcharge and the big. Oh, and in the meantime, Protoss punches in here, and Serral just gives it up. Serral just doesn't even give a go at contesting, I don't think. Yeah, this is gonna be hard. I didn't really do a lot. Ooh, the big Neuroparasites steals in some kind of pointless units though. They don't really matter all too much. The Immortals come barreling through. This big Immortal switch has actually really caught Serral by surprise and is really making the difference right now. It's just pummeling through all these ground units. But here are the Broodlords, and this is exactly what Zest didn't want to see. And this really makes his Broodlord production seem, Immortal production seem really silly. But let's count it. He killed the base, he killed some things here, he killed some important tech units. And now he just rolls out, switches back into carriers, and really for Zest the biggest thing is going to be getting a new base. Hopefully, yeah, he can hold this down. Honestly, Broodlords, not as good as they once were. I think the response might even be to build more Void Rays. But Carrier Sim will do the job, and I guess they are more valuable, ultimately. The Queens are knocking on the door of the 6th base. The Queen on 30 HP. And the Brutes take this down. You can't contest really with 3 Corruptors. He's not got any Storms either. 3 Carriers. He's not got any Storms either, so these Corruptors could easily just right-click some of these Carriers. And the Abduction Force plus the Broodlords. Yeah. This is what I warned of. If you're going to go, was it triple Robo against the potential to go air, to get Broodlords. This really was an air battle. It can be confusing when Zerg are building Ultralisks, but the end game for Zerg is air. They just need to go at it. The super late game. Anyway, here comes a couple of triple Void Rays. So sorry about that. A few technical issues. Oh, the big blink in. The fungal growth, but it's met with a blinding cloud. Look at this blinding cloud. Absolutely huge. Look at the stalkers. All running around backwards and forwards. They don't know which way to go. They can't fire. It's a big dramatic play from the Protoss, but it's working out. His Immortals, his Archons coming to back up. But can the Broodlords get out of there? Ooh. Run, little Broodlords. Run. Okay, but there's not a lot that shoots up right there. He took out a base. He took out a base and he denied this base. So this is really important now for Zest, this push. If Zest is to be repelled here, I think it's GG for him. It's almost win or lose right here for Zest. He needs to kill some bases off. If he kills 2 bases, he can retreat. But really, these are low mining bases. There's no drones here. There's only 2 mining patches here. These are not massively important. These bases are the ones that are really important for Serral. And yeah, there's so many Broodlords up here now. Zest got to get back. And meanwhile, where's Zest's new base? He doesn't have this base. He didn't establish this one. This one's been killed. Zest's really on the ropes now. I mean, he's got a huge bank, so he can probably survive for a bit longer, but establishing not only this base, but this base is really so important for Zest right now. He's building Stalkers. I mean, Stalkers are good against Broodlords, I guess, but Stalkers are not late game units. They really do not scale well. Look at Serral's army. It's all late game. Corruptors, Broodlords, Infestors, Vipers. Meanwhile, Archons and Stalkers. Oosh. Here we go. So Zest definitely wants to be fighting over this side of the map. Ooh, just a few Lings in there would do so well. Yeah, this is a great move, change of position from Zest. He needs to be attacking these bases. He's really caught Serral off guard, actually. Gets infested for free as well. And the Broodlords are massively out of position. This is great, great positional play by Zest. Gets this base, and can he get this base? No. I mean, he walked straight past the space. Is that perfect timing? I don't know. I guess he's played like 10,000 games of Starcraft and knows that you shouldn't go for that base. But clears this out. That's actually really helpful as well. You can potentially just establish this base. Wow. Perfect recall at the exact right time before that base was dead. And he converts all his DTs into Archons. Not warping in Templars because he's got more minerals than gas, and so warping DTs instead of high Templars to make your Archons. The big Neuroparasite, and he's targeting down the Templar. Interesting. These Voids, I mean, these Broodlords are really ruling the roost now. Really ruling the roost. This is a good little attack. Could definitely counter that base with a swift right click. But these Broodlords are big. That is a lot of broods, and there's not a lot of things to kill broods here. And there's a lot of corruptors, and he's kind of pinned in this corner right now. Serral can keep the pressure on here. He can take it. Oh, here we go. Can't remember how to hide the UI. That's not it. Huge battle. Protoss wins it though. It's just sheer storms. But once the storms run out, what's left? Just some Stalkers. But that could be enough to hold back some Broodlords. And Serral gives him a slight reprieve. But yeah, I'm worried for Zest, man. I'm worried. I'm really worried. He's basically mined out everywhere. This is his only mining base, and he only has 10 workers there. His income is still surprisingly high. I mean, Serral's in a very similar position, to be fair. But I'm worried about the complexity of this army. This is mostly Stalkers. The Immortals are good. Immortals are a super good number. But they don't do well against Broodlords. Good. Importance of that weapon there. Importance of that weapon. I feel like Zest really needs to secure this base. If he secures this base, he can use this as a platform to keep these two locked down. And if he can keep these two locked down for long enough, he will trade out eventually against Serral. I mean, look at the money. They're both pretty strapped for cash right now. There's definitely hope in this game for Zest. Definitely hope. But you got to feel that every Stalker walked in, he moves further away from victory. Can Serral take this space now? Yeah. Serral really really wants to bust this position so that he can establish here. Zest should really just expand to the bot side and go up that way. I think he would have a much better time of it. I wonder if that was the neural on the Archon here to defend, and the recall of not that many units. But the rest of the army's here. How many Broodlords is this? Oh my god, this is the most Broodlords I've seen yet. At one time. 15 Broodlords. And I don't even think Stalkers are deal with this. I don't even think... Look at the blinding clouds. Most of the Stalkers are just running about, not doing anything. Every blink forward equals a fungal. And once Zest loses this base, can't imagine there's much left for him. And I mean, his army just matches up so badly. This investment into Immortals really is what bit him. And maybe that's the only way you can deal with ultras. Nah, just go void rays, dude. Believe me. Muchos of the void rays is very powerful. But big props to Serral. Whoa! I'm gonna go back because I love a storm drop. Let's see it. Zest really trying to stay in the game. Just really trying to even out that economy deficit, but he's just having some fun before he GG's. GG. Okay, hope you enjoyed the game, and Serral takes the first one, and this is a best of 3, I think. So we'll be back with more. Peace.